we have two amazing matchups tonight. We're going to be kicking things off with ONSYDE Gaming versus Mystery Gaming, and we will end the night with Shopify Rebellion versus CranKy Gaming as well. Ah, it's beautiful, it's amazing. Again, the heavy hitters are facing off, and even this first series is not cut and dry. ONSYDE versus Mystery Gaming is going to be a banger of a matchup. We kick things off with Solar versus Strange, followed by Maru versus Bunny in a TVT. Ah, and Ryung versus SHIN. And that's something I still have to get used to. For those who may not be familiar with SHIN, like who, what, when, where, why? Huh? Well, similarly to how Wayne has been having an identity crisis and has been changing his name every year, basically every year, SHIN is Ragnarok. Ragnarok did get an ID, or he did switch his ID and go for a different, or he's now going by a different name as of, I think, over a week ago at this point, and alas, he is known as SHIN currently. So yeah, that is something that we have to get used to. Do have to get used to that. It's gonna be difficult. I loved the name Ragnarok. Ragnarok was very fitting. It was pretty cool. It was pretty yeah, like it's weird not to call him that, so I'll do my best to refer to him as SHIN, hopefully not confusing many people. Fingers crossed. Regardless, we're getting ready for our first best of two, and predictions are open. If you're in the chat, place your bets, because predictions are going to be open for the next 2 minutes, so you don't have too much time to try to predict on who you think or how you think the series is going to go. Is it going to be a 2-0 in favor of Solar, a 2-0 in favor of Strange, or a 1-1 all around? Up to you to decide as we dive on in. And spawning in the bottom right hand corner, we have Solar for ONSYDE Gaming. In the top left hand corner, we have a Mystery Gaming. It is Strange. Very strange. Sorry, I got caught off guard. My apologies. So we're catching up. This one looks a little bit lopsided. True. Mystery Gaming, clean sweep, Bobby, clean sweep. As we are getting into this, and obviously as we get into this game, as we get into our openers here, Solar is one of the best Zerg players in all of South Korea. He is top 2 alongside Dark. I think we can all agree on that. I would say that the top 3 would be Ragnarok, aka SHIN, and we'll get into some Ragnarok action or SHIN action later on down the line. But again, Solar is one of the big names here, and it's going to be on Strange to try to overcome a player of the caliber of Solar. And does he have it within him? He does. Strange has been able to cause upsets in the past, but really we're looking at Strange to bring something different to the table. We're going to be keeping our eye on him to try to catch Solar off guard. Upsets, they've happened before, they can happen again. If you remember, a couple of days ago, Firefly beat Serral. Right? Like, mate, if Firefly can beat Serral, Strange can beat Solar. You know, these things, they can happen. If you come in prepared, if you come in with a specific strategy, then you can overcome these otherwise insurmountable obstacles that are before your path. So we'll see if Strange can pull off something like that. He has to. I say he has to, but you know, it would be nice if he were able to try to kick things off here with a bit of a win for his team, just because ONSYDE Gaming are one of the best teams in the league. They are actually the previous WTL champions for the summer season of 2023. Oh, so again, they are going to be the favorites here to make it through the round robin stage, even with minimal losses and with minimal blemishes on their record. Big names, Bobby, big names. As for the time being, it is going to be a Stargate opener out of Strange, nothing too crazy, nothing too strange or out of the ordinary. Everything is looking as it should. Now, when it comes to the map itself, we're loading into Oceanborn, and the rush distance by ground is very short rush distance by ground. So we can see some pretty aggressive styles here from the Zerg or the Protoss. It does apply both ways. It does go both directions. What I mean by that is that if Strange did want to be a little bit more aggressive, we could be seeing something like, you know, a Stargate opener into a third base, into a Twilight Council no Forge, into something like Glavid Eps. Maybe we could get into faster Immortal production without a Twilight Council, with a Robo instead. And really keeping my eye on what tech gets thrown down after this Oracle. Again, we'll keep our eyes peeled. For now though, so far everything is looking as it should. We have the Overlord being zoned away by the Stalkers, of course. We have Solar just droning up and setting up his bases. We do have 2 Queens in the natural. We should be seeing a couple of Queens in the main base as well to defend against the first Oracle. Just going to be spreading creep here, just trying to really situate ourselves and get ourselves comfortable. And here is our tech of choice. Before the third base gets thrown down, Twilight Council. And this is what I was referring to earlier. This is kind of what I was keeping my eye out for. No forge yet. This is looking like Glaive Adepts. 3 more gateways are thrown down. I believe that is going to be 4 gates in total. You know, again, is what we expect to be seeing here. 4 gate glaives. I'm not entirely certain if that's what we're going to be committing to. We haven't seen the gases in the main base to see if we have pulled out of gas or if we're staying in gas. That would let us know for certain if it was going to be glaives or something like a charge all in or something a little bit out of the norm. And there it is. Glaives are on the way. So this is the reason why we brought this up earlier, because this can be a very effective build on this map on Oceanborn. The downside is that, hey, if we could predict it coming into this game, I'm sure Solar could predict it as well. And mentally, I'm sure he's aware that this is a big possibility. Now with his links, he does... Oh, I love this actually. Oh my god! Okay, this is beautiful. +1 air attack is on the way. It's fake. It's a fake out. The Lings, they check the third base. They confirm the third base timing. They confirm also +1 air attack on the way. And now Solar has to be thinking Sky Toss when it is anything but Sky Toss. Now, we'll see if he overreacts. We'll see if Solar, with this, in a way, false information is kind of bamboozled and is tricked, or if he does still build up a ground-based army. Roach Warren is on the way, which means Roaches will soon be in production as well, and Roaches are exactly what we need to defend against this. There we go. +1 air attack is cancelled, and Strange is zooming across the map. Here we go. Meanwhile, back at home, Solar is making Roaches. I think he did get a glimpse of those Adepts. I believe he is aware of what's going on. Yeah, he's amassing his army. This will not catch Solar off guard. It shouldn't, as Roaches are on the way, but they're still not done. As the Lings, they try to engage. They get a surround on some of these Adepts, where drones are being focused down. 3 workers will fall. Roaches are trickling on in, but again, they were just a couple of seconds too late to the party. As we commit to the shade, we shade into the main base, and more drones are going down. And can we pan over? Thank God. 8 workers go down. You know, it is an amount of damage, but I'm pretty sure Strange was hoping for more. I'm pretty sure he was hoping for some more, because Strange does take a worker lead, but he now has very little to defend. This is the scary thing. When you open up Glaive Adepts like this, a big downside, a big detriment, is that your ground army is going to be that much weaker. There's no blink, there's no charge. It means that to support your Immortals and to support your robo-based units, your army is very lackluster, and these Adepts, they had to not just deal damage, but buy time and take a long time to be dealt with. But he's been cleaned up. He's been cleaned up, which means Solar can now drone, can now establish his bases, and he can feel pretty safe. He can be safe to be greedy, because he knows that, again, there is no Blink Stalker follow-up coming up anytime soon, or a charge follow-up. There is no scary counterattack. He's safe. So from here, Solar, he's happily droning, he's taking up, he's working on roach speed, he's getting a 4th base, he's getting the forward 4th base as well, which will help when it comes to creep spread. So Solar is looking quite solid at the moment. Did take a lot of worker losses, but he is recovering. Meanwhile, Strange is stuck at home. Again, because of the Glaive Adept upgrade, he's just stuck at home, but he's building up towards a 3 base all-in. I'm loving this. We have 6 gates on the way. I believe that is going to be 10 gates in total, if I can do my math correctly, because it was 4 gates earlier, plus the 6, 10 in total. I don't think we're going to be looking to take a 4th base. There it is. Prism is on the way. We're going to be hitting a timing with +1, with Blink, Immortals, and all of these sentries. Here we go. It's a 1-2 punch. First the Glaive Adepts, and now the follow-up Immortal Sentry all-in. Oh boy, and if Solar drones up too much, then he may straight up die here. Now Solar, he did saturate his 4th. He went up to 72 workers, which I think is the max that we want to be going for. Any more than this, and maybe we're being too greedy. On top of that, we didn't take up into an infestation pit, so we're not being too tech heavy. We're not overextending when it comes to where we're spending our money. We're still focusing on the army. Baneling Nest isn't done. That is a little bit concerning. No Baneling Nest. It just now finishes, which means Baneling Speed will not be ready for this attack. And here we go. Strange, he's committing. The Lings are going for a big backstab at the same time. Strange should not turn around. He cannot turn around. We got to go here and now. No, the wall! The Stalker was not on hold position. The wall is not a wall. The Lings, they flood into the natural. They flood into the main. Probes are going down, but we are all in anyway, and we have to commit. We have to go all the way in. There is no stopping. But we're running into a Roach Ravager army, and then we're getting on top of the sentries. We're getting on top of the army. With the disrupted economy, we can't even reinforce. We're warping in one adept at a time. And the Ravagers, they get on top of the prism, they bile it down, and Solar will shut down this push. GG gets called. Solar takes game number 1. That's a tall mug. Oh my god. GG, a very intense game, but this is what I wanted out of Strange. You know, if you're gonna take down a player of the caliber of Solar, and if you're a bit of an underrated player, mate, you come in strong, you come in hot, you come in throwing everything you can at Solar. And again, I appreciate how it was all kind of piecing together, right? I appreciate the fake out. I appreciate, you know, trying to hide and mask the Glaive Adepts and get across the map. And hey, Strange did do some damage. It just wasn't enough. It wasn't getting 8 worker kills was not enough then in that situation, especially considering the deficit that he had behind it. On top of that, it was a shame that he had to spend warp-ins back at home, and that the wall was not a wall that the Ling run by was wreaking havoc, and that did weaken the push of Strange as well. He had to split up his attention and again spend warp-ins defensively instead of offensively when he was all in. He was all in already. So that did kind of slow him down. Very well executed by Solar. I know I'm giving Strange some praise because again, he's the underdog in this series, but a shout out to Solar because again, he was able to play it out very safely. You know, despite seeing +1 range, he still committed to the Roaches, he still made Lings, and we go. As we get oh my god, never mind. And in the top right hand corner for ONSYDE Gaming, we have Solar leading the series 1-0. And spawning in the bottom left, we have as opponent, we have for Mystery Gaming, Strange. Here we go. I was just gonna give a shout out to some of the people in the chat. Yo, Atapia getting the verified first Quacker. Oh my god. Ga, papi, ga. Bienvenidos, bienvenidos. Hello, Atapia. Colossal Gulp. I see complete in the chat. Mind Trizzle. Mind? I'll call you Mind. I was gonna say Min Trizzle, wasn't too sure. But welcome. Hope you're all doing well. Inch to the Maniac, of course, as well. Bienvenidos. Hope you're all enjoying your weekend. Hope you've all enjoyed your weekend as we get into game numero 2 of this series. And so far, nothing too out of the ordinary. Hatch gas pool opener here from Solar, very standard. Meanwhile, back at home, Strange going for what looks to be a gate expand as well, very economic. Nothing overly aggressive, nothing that really stands out or screams out early game aggression. Not yet, at least, not yet. There we go, there's going to be the gate nexus into the Cyber Core. And really, it's about the follow-up. It's about the tech, even the tech after the first Stargate is what I'm looking for. Now, we just saw Stargate opener into Glaives, which again is quite a popular build to catch people off guard. I don't expect to see that again. I do not expect to see that 2 games in a row. I look at Strange and I'm expecting something different. You know, we may even commit to Sky Toss, right? We may even go for +1 air attack and actually go for a Fleet Beacon and fast carrier production or fast Tempest. We could also see, instead of a Twilight Council, we get a Robo and a Forge follow-up, you know, for an Immortal all-in with +1. Oh, or we could just go for a straight Twilight Council here out of a Strange. Okay, straight up aggression here from our Protoss. Now, this can go one of 2 ways. This could be a straight up Glaive Adept opener. Once again, this will hit a little bit faster. This can also be a little bit more committed depending on how many gateways we throw down. This could also be a Dark Shrine opener as well. Strange, he's got a couple of options. There are also some more niche builds, like, you know, some kind of weird Charge all-in or some kind of weird Blink Stalker all-in, but they're very out of meta, they're very unorthodox, and I don't really expect anything to deviate in that direction. As, the Twilight Council is done, gateways are being thrown down. No Robo, actually. That's a bit odd. Yeah, so I believe this should be Glaives without a robotics facility. There it is. Glaives is now on the way. So this is an interesting variation. I remember pointing this out, I think it was last week or the week before, and Lorimbo was letting me know that this was a more modern variation. So it's a bit of a double-edged sword. For one, because there's no robo, you actually don't reinforce across the map. You can't reinforce, you can't be out. Oh, nah, never mind, there's the robo. It's a little bit later, but a robo nonetheless. Now, with the robo, we can reinforce across the map, but it's quite later than I typically would have expected. Glaives is on the way though, we have additional gateways as well. It looks like we aren't over-committing to the gateways though. I want to say we have 3 at the moment, 2 in the natural and 1 in the main, if I'm not mistaken. We are warping in 3 adepts at a time. Just building up that count. Meanwhile, back at home, Solar, he sees the lack of third base. He recognizes the prioritization of Warp Gate. And Solar is getting ready back at home. We have Spores on the way, Queens, the Roach Warren just finished up. This was, what, a 320-ish Roach Warren timing very early on out of Solar. Adepts have been spotted, and yeah, we're just going across the map. So because the robot was so late, it isn't with a warp prism, which is what I assumed to begin with. So again, because of this, we can't reinforce. No, we can't reinforce across the map as the wall is not a wall. The Lings, they slip into the natural base. Ay. Strange is getting across the map, and he is going to be able to find some workers here at this third base, especially. But Lings are reciprocating that damage across the map. They're getting into the mineral lines. Roaches are out, and Solar should be able to clean this up without losing too much more. 8 probes go down over on Strange's side of the map. Meanwhile, it looks like Strange, he can get an equalizing amount of damage, which is not good enough. He gets 9, 10 drone kills, 11 before being cleaned up. But bearing in mind that Strange is stuck on 2 bases, and there is the follow-up, it is going to be that robot was for Immortal production. We have +1 attack on the way, sentries. This is going to be an Immortal sentry all in at a Strange. And I'd be a lot more enthusiastic about this if Strange hadn't just lost 8 probes. Like, if it wasn't for the Ling run by, then sure, you know, we could maybe pull this off, we could maybe catch Solar off guard. But Strange's economy is also crippled, and it's also recovering because of what just happened. We are in the midst of moving out. It looks like Strange is attempting to expand and take a third base. He is getting in position. Oh, but this is a very late third. And Solar is free to just drone up back at home, take his third, work towards the lair, work towards Roach speed, get an Evo chamber. And now we have confirmation. So I was assuming that a Strange was going to try to take his third base and just push out and go all in anyway. But with the revelation of this tech, that looks not to be the case. We have a Robotics Bay on the way. So it looks like Strange is going to take a more defensive position and try to survive long enough to get into Disruptors or Colossus. So Strange just taking a different approach, a much more rough approach, just because he's got a lot of catching up to do, he's got a lot of droning to do, or probing to do, sorry. He's recovering. On top of that, without Blink essentially, like, he can't really be too active on the map. He's gonna have a hard time harassing. He does have a War Prism on the way, which will help, which means he can go for some Zealot run-bys, or not even, he doesn't even have charge, but he can go for maybe like Immortal drops, or actually he's committing to a push. Okay, here we go. We are committing to the push. War Prism is coming out to reinforce this. Now, Strange, he can afford to move out with this army because of his sentries. Because he has so many sentries, with good enough control, he shouldn't be surrounded. He shouldn't be cleaned up. He can maybe push out, vie for creep control, maybe take out the 4th base before backing off and before retreating back home. We shouldn't be looking for a kill move here. As we do push on forward, clean up some of the creep, but we won't go any further than that. Again, Strange, he's just posturing. And he is safe to posture just because of all these sentries. Like, a surround shouldn't be able to kill him, and yeah, there we go. He's just going to go back home, and he's going to harass with only these Immortals. Oh, Prism takes a lot of hits. Back at home again, Strange is just building up his Colossus count. And Solar is just focusing on establishing himself. He's drawn up to 75. Honestly, like, this is the worker count he wants to be at and stay at for quite some time. He's going to be going Lingbane Roach Ravager, clearing up all these rocks, and he's getting ready for one big max out. And again, because of the deficit that Strange has been in, because of the economic damage he sustained, it wasn't just the economic damage, but it's also his aggressive opener and his delayed third base. Everything that's just been adding up and culminating against Strange here is coming to fruition, with Solar maxing out and Strange being stuck at, what, 140 supply. This is going to be a tough defense. In a world where if we have like the most perfect force fields where we slice up the army in half, we can deal with one portion of the army, then the other, then maybe we can pull off a defense where Veiling Speed kicks in. We roll on forward. We do have some good force fields, but the piles bring down the force fields. Another wave comes in, but the Veilings do find their way in. A couple of sentries remain, and it looks like Strange will barely hold. Whew. Yeah, that was not easy, but the scary thing is that we did lose a lot of sentries in the process, and Solar's getting ready for the next wave. He's getting ready for the second push. Rocks are being knocked down. Veilings are morphing in. More sentries have been morphed, but the army a bit out of position. Solar, he's trying to find, or he's trying to force the army out into the open. Push in towards the natural, or push in towards that third. Catch this army out. Now we are gathering up energy. It looks like Strange has enough energy for another wave of force fields. We're going for it. So far, force fields are looking decent, but again, they are being knocked down by the piles. The Veilings do not find their mark. Strange holding strong. Once again, the second attack, and the Veilings do not hit the center. Whew. Strange, you can see here trading very efficiently. Killing 43 Veilings, 125 Lings. Very good fights here out of Strange, back to back. And the question becomes, does Solar do that again, or does he get Vipers? That's the question. There it is, we have our answer. Hive just now begins. So with this, Solar, there's nothing forcing him to attack, and I would hope that he doesn't. There's nothing forcing him to break this third base, especially considering the defensive position. All he has to do is deny the fourth. Deny the fourth, tech up into Hive, refine the army, work on upgrades, and take a better fight in the center of the map. Wait for Strange to expose himself. Again, the center of the map, this is where we can attack from multiple angles. This is where it can be much more difficult to have the defender's advantage with your shield batteries, with your overcharge, with the SimCity, with the terrain. As Strange is moving out, Solar getting ready to collapse on this force. Oh, and he's going for it. Maybe a little bit premature, though. The force field's looking good once again. Under the Veilings! As the Veilings, they try to connect, but they barely cannot. Some of them do, though. But the sentries, there are so many of them. The force fields, they are just not stopping. They are winning Strange this game. The force fields are the MVPs. He's pushing on forward. He's crashing into this hatchery, and the base will fall. Strange just absorbing all of these attacks time and time again, and now going for a big counterattack with these 3 Colossi. He's got the Warp Prism to reinforce. He warps in more sentries. And we can keep going. We can keep pushing. I feel like we should keep pushing as well. Keep the pressure on, as Strange is going to be backing off. It looks like he wants to rotate around. Leading around by it does pull away his attention. I don't know how I feel about this. I feel like when you have momentum against Solar, we got to keep on going. Instead, Strange, he's backing off. He's taking it forth. He's going for a longer game. And what I'm worried about is that as the game progresses, now the Hive is done. Now we have Vipers. Now Solar has a better answer to this army. Vipers are on the way. Strange, he's giving Solar the time to actually get at the Vipers and gather up energy, suck on buildings, and get ready for those abductions. I don't want to call it yet, but I feel like Strange just misread the situation. Didn't realize how much pressure he was under. Like, even though we have all these sentries, the next fight, it won't matter. The walls won't matter. The force fields won't matter. Because we can just yoink. We can just yoink the Colossus. Boy, and here we go. Strange focusing on his push. How many Vipers do we have? That's the big question. How many Vipers do we have, and are they ready? Once again, force fields are being thrown down. Banelings, they try to crash on forward. There's the first abduction on one of those Colossus. Force fields looking good so far. Barely holding on, but no, the Banelings, they connect. The sentries go down. No more force fields. 2 Colossus stand strong. Do we have enough? I'm not too sure we do. The Colossus pulling back the Stalkers. They get on top of the Ravagers. Another yoink. Yoink. It does get the Colossus, but it barely up. Does it survive? It doesn't. It goes down. And Solar, he will clean up this army. Just barely. Biles down the Prism. It was a tough hold. It was an impressive push. A very impressive push. A very impressive attack. Strange was almost able to pull off the upset with his first big counterattack, but Solar survives. He's on 4 bases, but he doesn't have enough to keep pushing. The downside, though, is that Strange just lost all of his high-tech units. He lost all of his Colossus, and he lost all of his sentries, and his his War Prism. He lost his War Prism as well, which means Strange only has a gateway army. This army is not very threatening to Solar. He's making 1 Colossus at a time. We have a second Robo on the way, but Solar's rebuilding those Vipers already. 2 of them are about to pop out. The momentum that Strange once had isn't there anymore. But he was so close. he was so close, Papi. Legitimately, like, it was... He almost did it. He almost pulled it off. Again, great defense from Strange. Great use of force fields overall. But I do think he waited too long. I do think he backed off when... Oh, he backed off and he gave Solar the chance to amass a more efficient army. To get the Vipers. To get more Roach Ravager, and... Now things are looking a little bit bleaker here for Strange. He's got a Storm on the way for High Templar. He's building up his Colossus count once again. Trying to make 2 at a time. Solar is about to max out, and the biggest difference here, as Solar's maxing out and Strange is once again at around 140 supply, is that this time Strange doesn't have his sentries. This time he doesn't have his force fields, and he has, I think, 1 or maybe 2 Colossus. The army pushes forward. We're going to be forcing a cancel onto this base. Strange, he tries to focus down the Vipers, but he just can't do so. The Vipers escape. At the same time, a bailing run by 25 probes go down. Oh my god. I believe that was a bailing runway at the 4th base. Was missed by the cams. There's the abduct. There's the yoink. We're down to 1 Colossus. And here we go. We're looking to pull the trigger. The 2nd Colossus goes down. We do have a couple of storms available that will buy some time. Solar is just going to be rotating around. Oh, I just realized something. There we go. Solar is just going to be rotating around, looking for another way in. We saw those 25 worker kills earlier, and again, the economy is crippled for Strange. Just doesn't have much left. Yeah, this 4th base is under fire, and it is going to get cleaned up. Strange forced all in, forced into a big counterattack, but there just isn't much to counterattack with. There's 4 High Templar, there's a Sentry, an Immortal. A bit of everything, but not much of anything. Storms are looking good on these Banelings, but the Lightning Clouds are thrown down, and Solar is looking to collapse on this army to clean up what little is left. GG gets called, and Solar will take the series 2-0. Shaking his head a little bit, though, because that was not an easy game. GG, well played. Whew. And congratulations to Solar for taking the 2-0. But especially if you tune in now or a little bit later, this 2-0 I don't think is very reflective of the series because there were some close games. I love the ideas behind game 1 and the execution of game 2, like Strange just doing so well for himself, absorbing these attacks, Solar overcommitting, overextending a little bit too much, and that gave an opportunity, a big opportunity for Strange to counterattack, to look good, to take down a base, to go toe-to-toe with the army. But Strange was just, it felt like he was lacking a bit of confidence, maybe lacking the drive to keep pushing, backed off, which allowed Solar to get into Hive Tech, to get into Vipers, which gave him a much more solid defense in the follow-up attack and the follow-up engagement. Regardless, GG. GG, well played. Oh, that was a series. GG, Poppy, GG. Oh my god. At a certain point there, I was almost certain we were going to see a 1-1. 100%. Like, as soon as we saw the 4th base crumble, and as soon as we saw Solar lose the majority of his army, I was like, keep pushing, Papi, keep pushing. We can go, Papi, we can go. Well done, well done. Well done to both players. For Solar to surviving, and to Strange for making it as close as he did, and I do think that Strange, he may spend some time over the Reap. He impressed me, and I hope he impressed a lot of people. I hope he is gaining the faith of some people in the chat and some StarCraft fans, because again, really well done, especially considering you know, Solar is one of the best Zerg players in the world, is top 2 in Korea. Oh, so yeah, really well done, as we are going to be getting ready here for our next matchup. It's going to be, so I'm happy to see some more bunny action, always. So we dive on in, and spawning in the top right hand corner of ONSYDE Gaming, it is Maru. And spawning the bottom left for Mystery Gaming, we have Bunny. At Banjwa, Papi, Banjwa. Not to be confused with Bianjwa, that's the other one. That's the... as so far, so good. We do have Rax expands being set up by both players, so for the time being, very economic openers here in game 1 of this best of 2. It is a Korean TVT, so I expect at some point we may have a cheesy proxy game, but at least here in game 1, everything is above board. And oh, I spoke too soon, because Bunny is setting up for a double gas opener. Okay, you have my attention. Maru? Oh my god. These Terran players in the chat, they're animals, Bobby. They're animals. Bunny shaking the blood to his hands. He's powering up. He's getting ready to jump, Bobby. He's getting ready to do the hop. The bunny hop. They won't see it coming. For now, again, Bunny is going for a much more aggressive opener with this double gas. It is going to be scouted by this SCV scout of Maru as he does dip on in. And with this, Maru will have a faster CC, he will have a stronger or a faster economy, Bunny will have a faster factory, so we'll see what he brings to the table and how he pieces this together as we get into game 1 of this TVT. A massive shout out to Holy Lime in the chat. Thank you so much for subscribing with Twitch Prime for 9 months of Papi. You're a Papi. 9 months. That's a lot of months. Thank you so much for the support. We appreciate it. We always appreciate it. We always thank you, Papi. Hope you enjoy your emotes. Hope you enjoy the content, because we appreciate your support. Thank you. So we are getting into this. Meanwhile, we can see with the abundance of gas, Bunny is going for a faster Cyclone back at home, going into additional Reapers as well. We do have a bit of a skirmish here in the center. Maru does shoot first. Bunny did face check up the ramp and he was punished for it, but thankfully Bunny does not lose his Reaper. 9 months is greater than 8. True. That is facts and numbers. Not wrong. 9 is greater than 8. As we do have our first 2 Reapers looking to potentially dip into the main base, but we do have a Reaper in position. No! Oh, getting a little bit stuck there. You can see the reaction from Bunny as well. 1 Reaper goes down. The body blocking, intentional or not, was brutal. And a Reaper going down that early on is rough here for Bunny, especially considering he went for a more aggressive opener. Every unit does count. Alas, Bunny has to back off and, yeah, settle for his later expansion. Step Reaper was stuck on the step. That true in many ways. Likewise, Maru also ends up getting his own Reaper shut down as well, so Bunny able to reciprocate some of that damage. Medevac is on the way, so we're going for a drop across the map. I believe this is the third Cyclone. Yes, we have 2 Cyclones on the map. We have a third Cyclone on the way for Bunny as he catches a Hellion. But the army has been spotted. The move out has been seen. Maru is getting ready back at home. He's preparing himself. We have a Raven on the way for some auto turrets. Well, the Cyclone's able to outrange that bunker as well, getting a couple of hits in, but we're still waiting for that drop. Here we go. It is boosting across the map. Oh. On top of that, as a quick reminder, we do have a so I was going to say extend thermal lens. We have I almost said Magfield accelerators, interference matrix. That's it. It's so weird to call that an upgrade. It's not. I'm not going to lie. Interference matrix is on the way here for Bunny as well as he drops into the main base, tries to dive on that Raven. Will not quite get it though. It looks like there's too much in position. Bunny gonna try and elevate her into the main, but no, he's forced back. Again, it was just an awkward drop out of Bunny. He wasn't quite able to snowball out of control the way he wanted to. But last interference matrix is now an upgrade. It is no longer available by default, and both players are working towards it. Bunker is gonna stay up. Clutch repair here by Maru, but he loses the Cyclone. Ay, ay, ay. Cyclone does go down, but Maru is going to be able to hold on. Tank comes down from the high ground. Ravens are in position, and both players are throwing down their third bases. Bunny does have a slight lead here, which is important, is necessary, I feel. If you look at the worker counts, Bunny is slightly behind in workers. Big reason for that is because of the delayed expansion, right? The openers, the delayed CC from Bunny. So for him to go for a faster third base will help make up for that, will help close the gap there when it comes to the economies. Oh, as Bunny's just landing it immediately. We're not even morphing in an orbital. We're just going straight for the third on location. Bold move scan. Oh, did it catch a glimpse of the floating CC? I wonder. It's possible it did, but I think it may have just barely missed it. As Maru's getting ready himself, working on his own orbital in his main. Scan does confirm the timing of the orbital. So Bunny is aware that he has the slightly better economy here with the faster third on location that he's already going to be main-arting over to. And he is pushing out. Does have 2 Ravens available, 2 tanks, 3 tanks even. And the goal here for Bunny, not necessarily to break Maru, but to delay the third, to contain Maru to 2 bases. And get away with his own third base and just skyrocket ahead economically. Here we go. We'll see if we can find an opportunity. Ooh, as Maru does get across the map. Does pull Bunny back home. Only a single Marine. Does give Maru a little bit of breathing room though, as the Marine is being hunted down. This one Marine brought the entire army back home. Regardless, Bunny is content to just establish his third base. Ooh, we do have some harass being set up here from Maru. Ravens moving out, I believe being escorted by some of those Vikings. Very committed harass there from Maru on the way. As Bunny himself is going for his own drop. Okay, it's just 3 Ravens. I don't know why, but I thought I saw a Viking. The Vikings are patrolling outside the main. There we go, there we go. So the Vikings are patrolling. Ravens are just moving out on their own. Ooh, the drop may be spotted. As the drop's in a really awkward position in between the Vikings and the Ravens. As the drop attempts to slip in, we boost past the Vikings, straight into the main base. Straight into that mineral line. SCVs will be going down. A pretty efficient drop here from Bunny. He even ends up delaying the armory, forces a cancel. Very nicely done. He will be cleaned up. There is no escape, especially with the Vikings in tow. But 7 SCVs canceling the armory, delaying 2-2. Or delaying upgrades, I should say, in general. Yeah, very nicely done. Behind this, Bunny is situated quite nicely here at his third, getting ready to receive any kind of move out. And here we go, Maru is pushing out across the map. He's up in Ravens, up to 5 tanks. Oh, and the move out has been spotted. Has been spotted by Bunny. Can a Bunny hold on? Again, Bunny, he's still working in his own 1-1 upgrades. Maru just now restarting that armory. The tanks were late to siege. The tanks were late. Big disables as well on every single tank of Bunny. And Maru, he gets on top of 3 of them. The Marines, they crumble again. Those 1-1 upgrades coming in clutch. And this push may just be too much. Maru working his way closer. His tank count still looking very healthy. He is within range of this third base. Tank even getting into the mineral line as well. Maru just bullying his way through. It was such a good start for Bunny. Such a good start. But again, this attack, the timing of this attack was brutal. Bunny had 0-0. He was caught unsieged. He was caught in an awkward position with his tanks. And his own Ravens weren't ready for it either. Things just escalating very quickly out of control. As another tank goes down. Bunny just trying to establish a new third base towards the north. Vying for air control with those Vikings as well. Now that the upgrades have evened up, Bunny could try and potentially break this location, but yeah, he doesn't need to. He can just back off. Wait for Maru to even unsiege and expose himself while Bunny takes another base. Here we go. Liberator is on the way. There are no Vikings. So Bunny, he can force this to unsiege, force this to back off. But we have another army moving out. Bunny's on a bit of a timer. He's got to deal with this so he can rotate over towards his new third base, but I feel like he's just being spread too thin. He's going to be pulled apart. Yeah, the army arrives, and this planetary is so isolated. Repair is going to try to hold on here, but SCVs are going down. The planetary does hold. Let's go. Does defend against the reinforcements. Oh, and Bunny, he's just going across the map. He doesn't care. He goes to the medevacs. He does get one. He's ignoring the tanks. Now Maru is the one out of position as I say that. Oh, the tanks do siege back at home. He catches a Raven. He's rotating around. He's trying to catch out Maru, and here we go. The disables. They do come in. And Bunny will clean this army up. Will he save his tanks though? One tank goes down. Oh. But Bunny is still in this. It's still an uphill battle for the Red Terran, but so far he is keeping up with the movements of Maru. Working through those rocks. Maru, though, with an abundance of tanks, does take control of that area. Bunny has to respect it. He has to back off. Bunny taking an upgrade lead. A big reason for this is because... Oh, sorry. Maru taking a big upgrade lead. Bunny wasn't quite able to start up 2-2 for quite some time. Maru, he's working on 3-3. Now, the Marines aren't the end-all be-all of TVT. You know, tanks, of course, are still king. But that's a lot of Marines, and we're looking to try and close the gap. Here we go. We're pushing on forward. Decent concave here from Bunny. But there are just so many Marines. The tank positioning is too good, and Bunny's army melts. GG gets called, and Maru, aggressive approach at the start of game 5 on in. Again, of course, Maru is coming in as the favorite player, but can he close it out in the top right-hand corner? We have for ONSYDE Gaming, it is Maru. And spawning in the bottom, oh sorry, top left, we have for Mystery Gaming, Bunny. Here we go. Again, the pressure is on. For some context and something that I should have brought up, especially now, ONSYDE Gaming, they're up 3-0. One more win, and ONSYDE will take the series. They will take down Mystery Gaming. Regardless of what happens between Ragnarok and Ryung, regardless of what happens there, ONSYDE will take it. So the pressure is suddenly on Bunny to fight back here and now. as he's fighting back. Asher subscribing 20 months. Fellow cranky duckling. ¿Qué tal? ¿Cómo estás, papi? ¿Cómo estás? Hope you're doing well. Hope you're taking care. Hope you're enjoying PAX Australia. For those wondering, PAX did occur over the weekend here in Australia, and I believe Asher was there. Asher was involved. Hope you enjoyed yourself. Not just Asher, but a bunch of the other StarCraft 2 Australian community members were able to be a part of that. Much love, much love. As for now, we're getting into our openers. This time, Bunny is going for a Rax Expand. Is going for something more economic as opposed to Game 1. Likewise, Maru doing the same. Asher was the main attraction. He was in a cage. He's an animal. Hi. The Rax expands all around. CCs are being taken, and Bunny is being active here with this Reaper. He's gotta be careful. Does have to take care when it comes to his positioning. We did see in the previous game things go a little bit awry in the early game, if you recall. But Bunny is just vying for control of the Zelnaga. Is just in the center of the map as he is continuing Reaper production. So just like the previous game, working towards those 2 Reapers. As the factories get underway, I wouldn't be surprised if we get into Cyclones as well, just for some early game defense. As Maru is going straight for his 1-1-1. Meanwhile, the 2 Reapers of Bunny are going to be slipping into the main base. This time they don't get stuck. This time there isn't a Marine waiting for them. They do slip in. They will be getting a delay on the starport. SCV goes down. They're going for another, but a quick repair out of Maru keeps that SCV alive. Oof. And we will be losing one of those Reapers for 1 worker. Not too sure if that was ideal. I mean, it did delay the starport. It also scouted the opener of Maru as well. So at least Bunny was able to get some scouting information as he's preparing back at home. And oh my god, Bunny going immediately for a 3rd CC. Very greedy move here out of Bunny, going right for that 3rd. Meanwhile, his opponent is going for a tank drop. Maru is looking to be the aggressor this time. He's getting ready to just, wait for the tank to pop out with that medevac, load up, and send everything across the map. It's going to be on Bunny to survive, on Bunny to defend, and get away with that 3rd. Asha was very much love and bowl. Oh, Sheldon, Poppy Sheldon. Seether. Let's go. Seether went outside? Mate, happy days. Oh, he's one that goes outside. Yeah, he's an animal. As Maru is moving out back at home, Bunny is attempting to prepare himself. He's got Ravens on the way. Interference Matrix is in production as well, but it won't quite be ready for this first attack. As Maru is looking to take control of the natural, get within range of that bunker. And does Bunny have enough to deal with this? Bunker already taking a lot of hits, and the bunker will be salvaged. Barely in time. Tanks are getting in position. Maru doesn't gain any more ground here, not yet, but he does actually go straight for the main. Oh my god. The main is pretty huge here, and Maru, he's gonna be able to slip in unscouted. Oh god. Bunny not actually aware. CC is under threat, has been scouted as well by Maru. He's gonna be forced out, but at least he does confirm. Does confirm the timing of that 3rd CC as he rotates back down towards the natural. A solid clutch matrix there on that tank. And Bunny, can he clean this up? Oof. There is a second tank behind it. Yeah, Maru, he does hold on to this position. So once again, looking to drop into the main. Looking to take advantage of just how large this main is. Oh, he's even within range of the gas geyser. Oh my god. The mineral line is under threat, is under fire. Bunny trying to get in position. Maru throwing down 2, but he's going triple starport. Oh my god. What? I mean, to be fair, Bunny is going double starport. Like, he did throw down the second starport, which I think has been spotted. The Vikings, they take down one of the Ravens. Another does barely make it out. But Maru, he sees your 2 starports and he raises you 3 starports instead. As Bunny will eventually deal with these tanks. Behind this, Maru, he takes his 3rd base as the gold. The gold base has been taken by Maru. Oh, getting into mass Viking production. 4 Vikings at a time. That's a lot of Vikings, Poppy. That's a lot of Vikings. As yeah, Maru, he takes advantage of this gold base. Bearing in mind, it's not just a gold base, but there's also a rich Vespene gas geyser as well, so it's a very valuable base to take advantage of. Meanwhile, despite Bunny having a faster CC, he's just now expanding, just now taking his 3rd. That's a 4th starport! No shot! Maru, he's getting a 4th starport. He's crazy. Ay, ay, ay. Mass Viking, Poppy. Sky Terran. Alright, let's go. Look, I could get behind it. I could understand the 3rd starport, but the 4th starport, Poppy. Maru's getting in position again. 0 Marines. Nothing on the ground to support. It's all about the Viking v Viking. Good anti-armor missile. But Maru is taking control of the skies. That 1 lib getting a lot of work done, forcing back the army. And we're just leapfrogging forward. Just slowly, just the lib. It's raining terror up on this 3rd base, and there is no answer. That 1 Liberator reigns supreme. Freedom has arrived. And we can't get rid of the freedom. Not like this. Now, if Maru wanted to, we could make multiple Liberators, but nah, just 1. That's just 1 lib. That's all we need, Papi. Don't worry about it. Nothing but Vikings outside of that. As this 3rd base is just not being mined from. It's just, yeah, Bunny, he's just being bullied back. Bullied back against this massive Viking army. We're going to be committing, and Bunny, he does take down the lib. At a cost. Maru replacing that Liberator back at home, and now these Vikings, if we wanted to, we can even try to camp the production. Oh my god. We're going for it. Raven falls, more Vikings as well. Second factory on the way for Maru. And he's just going to be chilling here, waiting for that 1 Liberator. Oh, there we go. We're making 3 libs at a time. Once they arrive, there's no answer. Straight up, there's just no answer to the libs. The libs, they're just... They are king in TVT. Especially with air control. As we just land our mass Vikings in the main base. Take control of the main. Get on top of the tank. Boys are being pulled, but boys against Vikings, you hate to see it. Ah! The boys go down. A drop is trying to make its way out. Scans are thrown down. The goal base has now been spotted. Now, does Maru have anything to deal with this? I mean, he's pulling the boys. Yeah, yeah. Here we go. The Liberation Zone show up, chasing down these Marines. It's an awkward fight. It's an awkward chase for Maru. He's going to be losing some SCVs, but Maru's got 80 workers compared to the 30 of Bunny. He can afford to lose some workers. It's okay. He likes it. He likes losing these workers. At the same time, another drop into the main. Bunny fighting back. It's an uphill battle, but he is fighting back nonetheless. Getting 17 SCV kills. The main army pushing through the center of the map as well. A very efficient trade here from Bunny. But he needs to do so much more than this. Despite killing 19 SCVs, he's still heavily behind. As he's trying to force his way through into the natural. Rotates around. Now he's going for the gold. Yamato. BCs are on the way. Maru's having some fun. He's enjoying himself, Bobby. The gold base is going to be denied. So Bunny has some solace in that. But he cannot gain any more ground. And yeah, I mean, with these 4 starports, may as well start taking into BC production. 3 battlecruisers are on the way. BCs are kind of the end game unit you want to be rushing, or you want to be working towards in the late game of TBT. And just because of how awkward this game has been, we're kind of getting there. Another middle line is going down. Oh god, no. As we push into a tank line, so many Marines go down in the process. Oof. And a Bunny will be cleaned up as the Vikings land. The boys are being pulled. Again, this may not be an efficient trade for Maru, but he doesn't have to be efficient. As the battle cruisers are revealed. Again, Bunny, he's just being so very active. He's just sending everything across the map, throwing everything at the wall, seeing what sticks, what doesn't. Trying to break the wall down. Distracting Maru, pulling him into the main base. But the reality is that this BC count is getting higher. Over time, more and more BCs are getting up and running. And there's no good answer to them, not yet. I mean, sure, we're making Marines, we're making man with gun, but don't have the best upgrades, they aren't, and not that many in number either. Yeah, we still on 4, but GG gets called, and Maru is going to be taking the series 2-0. Pressure on Ryung. You know, his team has already won, but despite that, Ryung still wants to win this for his own personal rating. We've spoken about this before, we've talked about this before, but the personal rating does matter when it comes to invites for events like Masters Coliseum, and it does, the overall score, the series score does matter as well when it comes to overall standings, when it comes to tiebreakers, and as we near the end of the season, as we do head towards the playoffs, they do impact these teams. So there is, if only the boys could handle the Vikings. Smooch. I do know that Ragnarok he wasn't able to compete in the last season of WTL, so that may be why they're ducking him a little bit when it comes to the overall points, but regardless, we are getting ready for this. Oh my god, we're just diving on in. Predictions are open in the chat, and spawning in the bottom left hand corner for ONSYDE Gaming, it is Ryung, the Tuna Terran. And spawning in the top right, oh my god, going for a pull first, it is Ragnarok, aka SHIN for Mystery Gaming. The problem with saying SHIN is that after I say SHIN, I want to say ramen. SHIN ramen, papi. Make me some soup. Make me some noodles. But yeah, an interesting opener here. Out of SHIN, going to be going for a pull first. Very safe opener overall. With this, he can try to make a handful of wings as well. Be aggressive across the map. Try and delay the CC on the low ground. And okay, Ryung is going for a Rax Expand. He does take a swig of water. 6 lings are in production for SHIN. Their goal again to get across the map to bypass the scout and to delay the CC of Ryung if possible. Oh, we're also opening up gasless. Oh my god. There's a lot of facets coming into play here. Okay, so it was a pool hatch opener. Again, it wasn't a 15 pool or anything crazy like that. It was just standard pool first timing. But 6 things are moving out across the map. With this gasless variation, of course, we can make up for the lack of drones that we have early on. Very bold move here out of SHIN, as the lings are getting across the map. They will be sliding on into that natural at the same time across the map. Ryung now gets eyes on the late hatchery with that Reaper. Oh, as the lings have arrived, they want that Marine. Up, they want it, and up. They will barely get the Marine. We trade 1 for 1. At the same time, those 2 lings do delay the CC on the low ground. We shouldn't force a cancel, but again, we are forcing the Reaper back home as the lings are being cleaned up. Thankfully, no more SCVs go down. And Ryung will regain control of his side of the map. Eventually. As he's chasing this down, and we do get a full scout of the main base, so that's another plus side here for Shin. He does confirm the 3rd CC before starport, so he's fully aware of the economic opener, which means he knows that he is relatively safe back at home. He is free to drone, saturate his bases, get into his queens, and now he's finally taking his first gas geyser as well. Now, because this has been such a delayed gas out of Ragnarok, out of Shin, it is very possible that he will skip link speed and go straight into roaches, and there it is, as one drone will not go down. A quick spore there out of Shin, and again, because of such a late gas here, we will be skipping link speed, skipping that entirely. We're going straight for roaches as the roach one is thrown down. Now, this doesn't mean that we can't get link speed later on, but initially it is just going to be a roach opener. From here we can work towards a certain timing with 1-1. We can get, of course, a faster layer for roach speed. So there we go, our first wave of roaches are on the way. Meanwhile, behind this, I do appreciate that Ryung is going for a 3cc Banshee opener. Banshees are in production. We're even going to be investing into Cloak, which means more than likely we're investing into multiple Banshees as well. That is going to be ideal, especially defensively against this first roach push. But will we be able to scout this in time? As the Hellions are just, oh my god, trying to bypass those queens. They do scout the roaches, and they do turn back around. The roaches have been spotted. Ryung is aware. Yeah, he sees the army moving out through the center of the map as well. I believe the first Banshee is going to be rallied right to these roaches, and we have a second Banshee in production. So already we are just chipping away at this army. Hellions as well doing what they can, and Shin is forced to turn back around. Power of the Banshee. I believe we made, I want to say 7 to 9 roaches for that attack, and again we'd have to turn back around. Shin going back into droning. Saturating his bases, working towards that lair. And so far, Ryung has been able to keep up with everything. Not just keep up, but remember, Cloak is now done. He has that second Banshee hitting the field, which means he can now harass. He can now turn the tables here, where Shin has been trying to be the aggressor, but now it is Ryung, as he does get one drone and is looking to disrupt the mining here at these bases. Well, we got the one Banshee harassing, we got the other Banshee also just bullying back these roaches. Regaining map control. Keeping Shin contained to these 3 bases. And we're not getting an amazing amount of economic damage, but regardless, we are still containing our opponents. We're still chipping away at the roaches. Ooh, but we do have our next tech choice here from Shin. It's a Spire. I believe the Spire was thrown down at the natural. I believe it hasn't been scouted, and the first Banshee is... oh! No shot. The first Banshee survives. It gets out of there. But again, the Spire so far has not been scouted, has not been spotted, and that is a little bit worrisome. It is a bit of a Hail Mary play here for Shin, to try to sneak out this tech and try to rush into those mutas. There's a lot of potential there. But if it does get scouted, then Ryung can prepare back at home. Banshee's just focusing on economic damage. Haven't quite checked the natural yet. Drop is on the way, making its way to the natural. 1-1 about to kick in, or on the horizon. Sim is done, combat shields on the way. And Ryung is looking quite solid back at home. You know, he's on 3 bases. He's been left alone despite all these roaches. Shin has been, you know, contained to these 3 bases. He hasn't been able to be aggressive. 4th base is delayed, as the Marines do push in. But they still have not spotted those mutas. Ay, ay, ay. As we get into this, a big shout out to Oz Protoss in the chat with the 569, nice. 569 bits. Thank you so much for the bits. Gracias, papi, gracias. Hope you enjoyed the content. Hope you enjoyed the StarCraft. Thank you for your dedication. Thanks for all the entertainment and SC2 passion. Oh, thank you, papi. Thank you. Always, always, always passionate, papi. We're doing what we can. We're doing what we can. As the mutas do dive into the natural base, this is the first sight of them. The turrets are now on the way. Thankfully, a couple of Marines were in position, but 3 SCVs go down, and we do dive into the main. Ooh. Likewise, reinforcements come out just in time, and these mutas, they haven't really done the damage that they're looking for. They do delay the armory, which does delay 2-2. Roach Ravager in position on the left-hand side. Meanwhile, here comes the main push over on the right. The rocks, they were knocked down, gaining access to this half of the map. Ravagers are caught out. This score base is not going to get up and running. It is cancelled. A good pick off from Ryung, and he can threaten the 4th base as well. Now, this is an awkward location to reinforce as the aggressing player. Ryung, he, for the most part, is still trying to keep up with all those mutas. Keep up with the harassing mutas out on the map. So he's having a hard time pushing in, but at least he did deny the gold. That at least did occur. As he tries to push it forward, but there's just an overwhelming flood of Lingbane, Roach Ravager, and Shin wilking up these tanks. Good tank volleys on the Banelings, but regardless, Ryung does have to go back home. As he did actually work through those rocks. At the same time, he's trying to take a 4th base. The mutas are being a nuisance. Going to be harassing. Going to draw away the attention and the reinforcements of Ryung. And that will give Shin the time he needs to max out. Ling, Bane, Roach, Ravager. +1 melee on the way. +2 carapace as well. Is Ryung in position? He does have a decent amount of tanks. But is it going to be enough? As here we go. Shin is pushing in. He rolls on forward, only 2 tanks are in position, and that is not going to be enough. The Biles, they are looking to connect. The final tank goes down, but do we have enough Ling Bane? We do not. The Bio army stands strong. The tanks may have fallen, but the Marines have not. And we can chase down these Ravagers. Ooh, some rough losses for Shin. It's one of those things where, even though Shin is up in supply, it is inflated supply because of the Roach Ravager. Looks can be a bit deceiving. 2-2 is looking to kick in for Ryung. Thankfully, Shin is refining his army in the midst of all of this as he was taking his 4th base. Hive is done. The Hive has finished up. We have Vipers on the way, Adrenal Glands as well. Unfortunately, the upgrades, because of the early game, the upgrades are delayed and the upgrades are a little bit awkward. They're a little bit off timing. But regardless, he is at least getting in towards those Vipers. As he loses Roaches, he's replacing them with more Ling Bane. Likewise, Ryung notices that. He's trying to get into Widow Mines as well. But the Widow Mine production just barely commencing. We're still getting into it as Ryung attempts to pull Shin apart. He has a double jump on the right-hand side, but Shin is in position. He will not be pulled apart. Oh, and we are going to be taking up even further, so we're not going into Ultras, but we are going into Hydras, and that is merely a stepping stone. Shin, he's thinking about the Lunkers. The Lunkers, baby, let's go. It's still a ways away. We don't have the best upgrades for Lurkers either, without +2 range or anything like that, but we're working there. We're getting there. Meanwhile, Shin looking to collapse on this army. Some of these mines are not yet burrowed. Good power bombs on these medevacs, getting a lot of damage done. Oof. Banelings do find their connections. They do crash in. But as Ryung was struggling on the left-hand side, he is gaining ground on the right. Clearing up a lot of this creep. Again, the armies are maxed. Lurker Den is now on the way. The fantasy about Lunkers are soon to be a reality. Oh god, those medevacs are so low. The Banelings! No! The Banelings do crash in. Some of the Marines are barely saved. Hot pickup from Ryung. As he tries to push in on the right-hand side. The splits are looking good. The Banelings do get cleaned up. Do we have enough? More Banelings are rolling in. And it looks like SHIN will hold on the right, but he loses a base on the left. Not just a hatchery, but Ryung, he can keep pushing. We don't have that many Banelings remaining. He's going to be threatening that 5th base. Only Lings and Roaches can defend, and they are not going to trade efficiently at all. Here we go. More Banelings do arrive just in time. SHIN is holding. Lunker Den is done. But as I say that, the Vipers are going down. Ryung, he gains ground on the right once again. Catches some high-tech units. He wants the hatchery. Can he get it? Oh! Can he get the base? He won't. Barely won't get the base. It stands strong. And the first 2 lurkers are on the way. Now, as we're working towards lunkers, ghosts have also hit the field. So Ryung has been able to identify the tech switch and keep up with it, even surpass it here. As we're getting to the first 4 lurkers, we already have a wave of ghosts on the field. Ryung is ready to snipe. He is ready to engage. Pushing on forward. Oh, we're going to try to fight off of creep. Lingbane crashing on forward. Big mine shots going off. SHIN is holding, and oh, actually, how many ghosts just died? We had like 6 or 7 ghosts with Ryung's army, but I think they were just caught out by the Lingbane. An expensive loss there for Ryung. He's got a lot of rebuilding to do. Let's get back into that ghost production. That is going to give SHIN the time that he needs to finally get another base. He's been struggling to get a 6th base for the past couple of minutes, but it looks like he finally does get the gold. He's in position. His lurkers are here. He has the high ground. Oh my, and Ryung, his answer to this is 2 more starports, so 3 starports in total, and a fusion core. Now, as much as I would love for this to be something crazy like battle cruisers, this should be a fusion core for Liberator range, and we should be seeing Liberators incorporated with this army to help deal with those lurkers. Oh, a bit of a missed rally from SHIN. Leads out a lot of roaches. Here we go, Ryung pushing forward. Oof. But again, SHIN, he is turtling. Now that he has enough lurkers to defend both locations, like he's holding strong, he's maxing out. He's catching up in upgrades. Oof. Even trying to collapse on those ghosts once again on the left-hand side. As the ghosts do have to back off. But yeah, with all this breathing room, it isn't just SHIN working on his upgrades, but he's taking up into a greater spire. Going to be working towards Broodlord upgrades as well. What I will say though is that throughout the course of this game, Ryung's economy has been left untouched. Every now and then we've seen, you know, a base delayed or a base denied, but workers haven't been dying. SHIN hasn't been able to actually counterattack or really have much map control at all until now. Now the game is finally settling down, and SHIN has a little bit more of a presence on the map. But he just hasn't been able to touch the worker count of Ryung, and he's just taking more bases. He's able to keep up here with the trading of the Zerg. Massive mine shot goes off. Shinji, get in the robot. Aye. Let's here we go. Libs are in production. Now the Vipers will help with this. The Vipers, of course, they can abduct these Liberators. But the freedom has arrived. Liberation gets thrown down. One lurker goes down at the same time. Ryung getting caught out on the map. Aliens, they roll on in. They connect with some of these ghosts. 1, 2 ghosts going down, but a good spread. Oh god! A good split here from Ryung as he does pull back. The kiting a little bit rough towards the end. But Ryung, he snipes the Viper. He has enough left over. He can push towards this gold. One Liberator will fall. SHIN coming in with reinforcements, and yeah, he does have enough to just swallow up this army. But additional liberators arrive, and SHIN doesn't really have a good answer. He can't deal with them. Uh-oh. Cannot deal with them as we're breaking on through. Is that the medevac upgrade? That's a medevac upgrade, right? I think I've only seen that once before. I think in the first week of the new patch. But here we go, a massive Ling counterattack. We take down some tanks, we take down some of the reinforcements as well. I'll be honest, I don't know what the medevac upgrade is called. I know the Cyclone upgrade is like the hurricane, like thrust me like a hurricane. Not too sure about the medevac. As we are reinforcing. So far, SHIN barely holding on to that gold. Oh, but this base on the left-hand side is going down. A solid yoinks on these libs. Finally cleaning them up. Again, as SHIN takes a good fight and a good trade on the right-hand side, he loses the base. 12 workers go down. Oh no, the libs! I mean, the lunkers, the scans, Poppy. As Ryung takes down another hatchery. Some pretty crucial bases actually are falling. Like SHIN, he had a decent cleanup earlier, getting all those liberators, but he's being pulled apart. SHIN now having to focus on these bases on the right-hand side. Likewise, so is Ryung. As he does back off, he recognizes that he doesn't really have a lot to support his army. Oh, and he will go with the planetary. Planetary does go down. Oh, EMPs, they miss the Vipers. The mines will survive. Was a hot moment there for Ryung, but he does hold. SHIN, though, he's looking to collapse on this position with a mass amount of Ling Bane, Hydra Viper, good EMPs. They will connect on the Vipers, but there's just so much Ling Bane rolling on forward. The Wind Mines, they need to connect. Ooh, and they will connect. But there's still so many more Banelings. They crash into the Ghosts. Good kiting out of Ryung, and Ryung will hold. That was everything that SHIN had. That was all or nothing for the Zerg, and he is out of money. He's out of minerals. Ryung, he was able to kite all the way back to his natural base. He was able to preserve his units. And with that, Ryung is looking to snowball out of control. He's looking to take this game. SHIN has almost nothing left. GG gets called. Ryung takes game one. Whew. GG. Oh, take care, Ryung. Take Papi. GG, well played, Ryung. Looking so good in that game, just having map control, denying bases time and time again. SHIN had to work so hard to take his fifth, to take his sixth base as well, and he just was not trading efficiently at all. Did eventually get into lurkers, but again, Ryung, his split pushes were looking good. It wasn't until the end of the game where SHIN was finally doing something about the economy of Ryung, when he took down the planetary towards the bottom right, if you remember. That was the only moment. And from that point, SHIN had committed to one big fight. He was all in with that. There was no turning back. There was no bank. There was nothing else behind it. And alas, he was unable to kill Ryung then and there. GG. GG, well played. Really well done there by Ryung. Again, for the most part, he was in control of this game. Like, he was in the driver's seat. SHIN was the defender for the most part. Obviously, when it comes to the early to mid game, we saw SHIN going for all these different tech switches, but Ryung was able to keep up. Remember, Ryung, he scouted the roaches, he shut down the initial roach aggression, he got his third base up and running, and even when the mutas came out, even though the Spire wasn't scouted, the mutas, what did they really do? What did they really accomplish? They caught some reinforcements, they killed a couple of Marines here and there, but they didn't really deal too much economic damage. They never really forced Ryung back home either. The mutas, they were a little bit lackluster from SHIN, and It was a big investment. Early, denying bases, killing workers, and just pulling Shin apart. Shin was just having a really hard time keeping up and maintaining his economy against his opponent. So again, a really active style from Ryung in game 1, really action-packed, and really well done. Really well done overall by the Terran. Of course, the map itself, as I mentioned towards the end, is also a little bit awkward. The map itself is a little bit awkward to try to defend those fringe bases just because of how split the map is, and rotating between left and right hand side can be a very difficult thing to do. Can be difficult. As we did see. As we're getting back into this, and here we go. We have a Rex Expand out of Ryung, nothing too crazy. Standard opener, and I believe this time it is a Hatch Gas Pool out of SHIN. I should also bring that up because if we wind the clock back a little bit, if you remember in game 1, SHIN did go for a pool first. That just adds on to like the early game and how everything was going Ryung's way, where SHIN did go pool first into a gasless opener, into a roach rush, and again, like, he just wasn't able to necessarily get the damage that he was looking for, and you could definitely argue that in the other game, SHIN did fall behind. But here is going for something more standard, you know, nothing too fancy, no delayed gases or anything like that. Just a normal hatch gas pool. Hatch gas pool opener here from our Zerg player. As we load into Equilibrium, this is not our first time here, not our first rodeo, but it does have a short rush distance by ground. Oh my god! Very fast Overlord speed. I'm a little bit caught off guard. This is Overlord speed before Link speed, right? SHIN. Okay. This is an odd one. Meanwhile, behind this, Ryung is going for a 1-1-1 opener, a delayed 3rd CC. So Ryung is looking to be hyper aggressive. SHIN rushing into Overlord speed, now getting Link speed, is catching me off guard. With this, he will get a free scout. He will be able to go into the main base and get confirmation of what Ryung is doing. But this is a really early investment. This is something that used to be more common. Overlord speed openers used to be more common back in the day. But nowadays, it's not typically worth it. So I'm a little bit shocked. But the Overlord does come in, and I mean, sure, we get a scout. Cool. we confirmed the 1-1-1. We are able to get a read on this. Overlord is going to be hunted down by this Cyclone in the end, or will it? Up. Will go down. And at least SHIN is aware. Now, I wonder if this is... as a second Overlord goes down as well. Big supply block for SHIN. This should not be happening, especially with an Overlord speed opener, as we're going straight for that lair as well behind this. But especially with an Overlord speed opener, you expect to save your Overlords, not to lose them. That's what you would hopefully be trading. Meanwhile, this is not an all-in out of Ryung. It is a very aggressive opener out of our Terran player, but he is expanding behind this. He's taking a 3rd CC. Now, what I was gonna say is that I wonder if SHIN specifically intends to go for these faster Overlord speed openers on Equilibrium, just because of how large the main base is, and potentially you wouldn't be able to get a full scout without it. Meanwhile, we have Mech, because that is 2 more armories. 2 more armories are on the way. No stim. We're doubling down on some mech, papi. Let's go. Let us go. As another Overlord goes down, another supply block here for SHIN. We get on top of the Queens, and the Queens do not have enough energy for transfuse. 1 Queen goes down. The Link's coming to reinforce. The Hellions get here just in time, and it looks like the Cyclones will be saved. This is snowballing out of control. This is getting too out of hand already. Can we get another Queen? We just barely do get another transfuse. We barely keep the Queens alive. Whew. SHIN will hold. But Ryung isn't done. He wants more. Does want more. Behind this, we have a Spire on the way for Mutas. I do like Mutas in this position. Cyclones are significantly worse against mutas in the current patch. Previously, they could annihilate mutas just because of the leash, or I say leash, just because of the range that Cyclones once had, and of course the amount of damage that they did with their lock-ons. Nowadays, because their range is so much shorter, mutas, they can dance around those Cyclones, they can avoid them, they can do more damage. Or even in high numbers, just dive on the Cyclones themselves, just because they are that much more fragile nowadays. So Spire's on the way, Infestation mid as well. SHIN getting fully saturated on 3 bases, now working towards his 4th. We'll see if he can get away with it. Meanwhile, we'll talk about it before, the Hurricane Thrusters are on the way. For Ryung, it is Cyclone speed. But I appreciate that behind this, now that he has a decent force of Hellions and Cyclones, he is working towards tanks. He's going to be building up his tank force. Now, because he hasn't seen the Spire, he isn't starting Thor production, because there's no reason to, which means he has very limited access to anti-air. He does have a decent Cyclone count, so he can deal with a low amount of mutas, but it's going to be difficult for him to be in position as one Banshee goes down. Again, we are denied the scout. Scan into the natural. Mutas have been spotted. Very clutch scan out of Ryung. Does confirm the Spire. Turrets are on the way. Thors should be coming out momentarily once we get our wave of turrets. And behind this, SHIN, he only made, I believe, 7 mutas from SHIN. From here, we are getting into investors and more roaches. Oh, as mutas, they go straight for the main base. Gonna be able to get potentially a couple of SCVs. 1, 2 SCVs go down. Not too bad. But again, not an overcommitment into these mutas. Just a very light commitment here from SHIN as he focuses on roach production. Thankfully, Ryung isn't overextending or overreacting to them. Still fixated on a ground army. As SHIN is able to take control of his side of the map, he gets his 4th base. He's got his 5th base on the way. Gold base being taken up to 86 workers. SHIN has the economy that he needs for the rest of this game. He's even taking up into a greater Spire. SHIN has everything you could imagine. Ryung is stuck at home, still trying to catch up, trying to keep up, trying to get a 4th base. So Ryung is going to be the defender, SHIN the aggressor. And can Ryung keep up, as he's going to be losing one of those Cyclones? Again, we mentioned earlier the Cyclones are that much more fragile. As Ryung is potentially looking to move out. Oh my god. I'll be honest, I'm not too sure how I feel about this. Ryung is at 160 supply. He has a decent army, but pushing onto a creep like this, the fungal will connect with the tanks, not with the Cyclones. Decent fight for Ryung as he's pushing on forward. He will take control of the center of the map, but he has to be careful not to overextend. Again, SHIN is about to max. God, this area is so wide open. Tanks getting into position. I mean, we do have a choke point that we can take advantage of. At the same time, Ryung cutting off SHIN from his own gold base. The gold is under threat. Is taking some hits from those Cyclones. Oh, but here we go. The blinding clouds are thrown down. The Bailings are rolling on in. They are slow pains, but they do collapse on top of those tanks. The tanks are being cleaned up. But do we have enough Cyclones to clean up the Ravagers? It looks like we do not. As SHIN will swallow up the army. Yeah, this was an odd move out from Ryung. He was quite a ways from maxing, and he gained ground. He had an initial good fight, but again, he was overwhelmed. And SHIN can keep pushing. He has map control. There are some Cyclones to stop him, but SHIN is just waiting for reinforcements, and he can just keep on going. Meanwhile, Ryung, unfortunately, I think his tank count was basically reset. He doesn't have too many tanks remaining. He's relying on mainly Cyclones to hold on, which is less than ideal. The mass Cyclone doing what they can, kiting against the Roaches and Ravagers, but the Cyclones are falling one after the other. And Ryung is just being cut off from his own third base. Lings are flooding on in. Yeah, just wreaking havoc in that mineral line. And Ryung's economy is now just in the gutter. Tanks are being piled down, and from here SHIN can rotate over towards that planetary as well. He can do whatever he wants, and yeah, GG gets called. Ryung will tap out, and SHIN takes game number 2. GG. A little bit bittersweet there from SHIN. Again, I'm sure he was hoping for a 2-0. I'm sure he was hoping that maybe the rest of his team would have had better luck. Again, we had some really close games earlier on, even among Solar and Strange, even among Maru and Bunny as well. Regardless, GG. Congratulations to ONSYDE Gaming, to Solar, Maru, and Ryung for taking the series. Congratulations. My condolences to Mystery Gaming. But again, even though there was some 2-0s there, a lot of those games were quite close, closer than they looked on paper. I highly recommend, if you haven't watched the start of the broadcast, Solar vs Strange. It was beautiful. Solar vs Strange was a spicy best of 2.